Rising from the heart of Transylvania stands a castle of legends, iron gates, Gothic towers, and a dark past filled with power, prisoners, and prophecy. Some say a king was born here. Others whisper that Vlad the Impaler was once imprisoned within its walls. This is Corvin Castle, one of Europe's greatest medieval fortresses and Romania's most dramatic stronghold. Our story begins in the early 15th century. Before it became the fairy tale fortress we see today, this site held a modest keep. But everything changed with the arrival of one of medieval Europe's most formidable figures, John Hunyadi. A brilliant military commander and the voivode of Transylvania, Hunyadi was the shield of Christendom, a relentless defender against the expanding Ottoman Empire. He needed a base that wasn't just a home, but a symbol of his immense power and a bastion against his enemies. So, he took the old fortress and began a grand transformation. Hunyadi's vision was clear. First, he wanted to display his political power. This castle was to be a statement, a declaration in stone that a new dynasty was on the rise. Second, it had to be a defensive masterpiece capable of protecting Transylvania from constant threats. Its strategic position was perfect, allowing him to control vital trade routes and military corridors that snaked through the Carpathian Mountains. Finally, he aimed to establish a lasting legacy for his family, the Hunyadis. This castle would be its heart. He poured resources into its construction, raising walls and towers that blended military function with aristocratic grandeur. The fortress was becoming a true castle, a seat of power that would soon command the attention of all of Europe. The castle's golden age arrived with John Hunyadi's son, Matthias Corvinus. Matthias wasn't just any noble. He was destined to become one of the greatest kings of Hungary. A true Renaissance man, he was a patron of the arts and sciences, and he brought that sophisticated vision back to his ancestral home. Under his rule, Corvin Castle blossomed from a rugged military fortress into a breathtaking architectural masterpiece. He expanded and embellished it, creating a residence fit for a king. The castle's silhouette is defined by its towering Gothic spires and turrets, piercing the sky like stone lances. To even enter, one must cross a massive drawbridge suspended over a deep, dry ravine, a truly intimidating first impression. But once inside, the atmosphere changes. Matthias introduced elegant Renaissance lodges, open-air arcaded galleries, which softened the harsh military design with grace and light. These were places for contemplation and courtly life, a stark contrast to the fortified walls outside. The grand halls were decorated with intricate frescoes and the heraldry of the family. Everywhere you look, you'll find the symbol of the Corvinus dynasty, the raven or corvus in Latin, often depicted holding a golden ring in its beak. This symbol wasn't just decoration. It was a constant reminder of the family's legendary origins and their royal authority. But a castle this old and imposing is bound to have its share of dark secrets. Corvin Castle is shrouded in chilling legends that blur the line between history and myth. The most famous of these involves another legendary Romanian figure, Vlad the Impaler, the historical Dracula. It's whispered that after being deposed and captured, Vlad was imprisoned here for 7 long years by John Hunyadi. Imagine him, the fearsome prince of Wallachia, languishing in a cold, dark dungeon beneath the magnificent halls. While historians debate whether this imprisonment actually happened here or elsewhere, the story has become inseparable from the castle's identity, adding a layer of Gothic horror to its walls. Another grim tale is etched into the very ground of the castle courtyard. The legend of the well tells of 3 Turkish prisoners who were promised their freedom if they could dig through solid rock and find water. For 15 agonizing years they toiled, chipping away day after day. Finally, they succeeded. But the promise was broken. Instead of freedom, they were met with the executioner's blade. It's said that before they died, one of the prisoners inscribed a message on the well's wall. "You have water, but no soul." These tales, whether fact or fiction, have cemented Corvin Castle's reputation as a place of sorrow and intrigue, where the echoes of past suffering can still be felt. At the height of its power in the 15th and 16th centuries, Corvin Castle was far more than just a beautiful fortress. It was the nerve center of a vast and influential domain. It functioned simultaneously as a noble residence, a military stronghold, and a center of administration. Within its walls, the Hunyadi family lived a life of aristocratic splendor, hosting lavish feasts in the Knights' Hall and holding courtly gatherings. But these halls were also rooms of war and politics. The castle's Diet Hall, with its stunning Gothic vaulting, was where crucial decisions were made. It was here that nobles and commanders gathered to plan military campaigns, forge alliances, and administer justice. Imagine the weight of the conversations that took place within these stone chambers, discussions that would shape the fate of Central and Eastern Europe. This was a violent age, a time of constant war with the Ottoman Empire and shifting loyalties among European kingdoms. Corvin Castle stood as a bulwark in this turbulent world, a symbol of resistance and power. Its strategic importance cannot be overstated. From here, John Hunyadi and later Matthias Corvinus commanded armies, influenced diplomacy, and governed their territories. The castle was the beating heart of their kingdom, a place where the destiny of nations was debated and decided. But empires rise and fall and dynasties fade. After the death of Matthias Corvinus and the end of the Hunyadi male line, the castle's golden era came to a close. It passed through the hands of over 20 different owners, each leaving their mark, but none with the vision or resources of its founders. The fortress that had once been the center of a kingdom began a long, slow decline. Neglect took its toll, and the constant warfare of the following centuries left its scars. The greatest disaster struck in 1854 when a fire, started by a lightning strike, ravaged the castle. The blaze raged for days, destroying the intricate wooden structures, roofs, and staircases. For a time, it seemed that Corvin Castle would be lost forever, left to crumble into a romantic ruin. Its magnificent halls were open to the sky, its vibrant frescoes blackened by soot. But the story doesn't end there. Recognizing its immense historical and cultural value, a massive restoration effort began in the late 19th century and continued throughout the 20th. Architects and artisans worked meticulously to save the castle, painstakingly rebuilding its roofs, reinforcing its walls, and preserving its unique Gothic Renaissance character. Thanks to their efforts, Corvin Castle was reborn from the ashes, allowing it to stand today not as a ruin, but as a glorious monument to its past. Today, Corvin Castle stands proudly as one of Romania's most visited and best-loved landmarks. Stepping across its drawbridge is like stepping back in time. Visitors from all over the world come to wander through its historic rooms and soak in the medieval atmosphere. You can explore the vast Knights' Hall, where nobles once feasted, and stand in the Diet Hall, imagining the weighty political debates that unfolded there. You can climb the spiraling staircases into the defensive towers for breathtaking views of the surrounding landscape, or descend into the chilling dungeons where prisoners like Vlad the Impaler may have been held. The castle is now a living museum, showcasing exhibits of medieval weapons, armor, and artifacts that bring its dramatic history to life. Its sheer theatricality has not been lost on modern storytellers either. The castle's dramatic silhouette, with its cluster of towers and precipitous walls, has made it a popular filming location for movies and documentaries seeking an authentic medieval backdrop. It continues to inspire filmmakers, historians, and travelers alike, proving that its power to capture the imagination is as strong today as it was 500 years ago. Corvin Castle is not just a monument, it is a legend carved in stone. A place where ambition forged kings, myths blurred with history, and medieval power still echoes through its halls. It is a testament to a family that shaped a nation and a fortress that stood against empires. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of Transylvania. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the crossroads of history.